you know, this is going to be my first proper Disability Pride Month. I have heard about it the last few years, especially since I'm made dramatically disabled, but I just kind of, I don't know, watched. I guess I didn't know how I really felt. And of course, the answer is disabled. So now that we're in using cane territory, I decided I want to do something just like I did for Queer Pride. On Friended Gems, I did a queer history, you know, every other week at least. Um, just usually mostly from memory. Um, and I mostly focus on trans people. So disabled history, not necessarily queer, but not necessarily not. I'll probably also recover Connie Boswell and Jackie Orms because I made those before I was willing to go on camera. So we gotta do our girls right. But I'll do one I can do from memory because this chick is like an idol of mine. She's a badass motherfucker, and she is just one of the coolest people in history. And you're probably going to notice, for me personally, a lot of my history knowledge comes from old music and films because that's kind of just where I found joy. But I do want to cover some disabled activists as well this month. So well, just be celebrities. But hell, knowing the eras, a lot of you probably don't know these people anyway. I do want to put a quick one since it goes along with my gal here. Lucille Ball technically was not disabled. A lot of people thought she had rheumatoid arthritis for a very long time, and I was very excited about that because me too. But no, she had rheumatism, which it affects your heart. But considering how long she lived, didn't affect her a ton. Good for her. And it's still very impressive that she's able to recover like she did from her illness. So let's go to, I guess, the mother of Lucille Ball, Mabel Normand. So Mabel was born late 1800s, I think 1895 offhand, to a Catholic family, Staten Island, New York. And a lot of people don't know her today, but she discovered Charlie Chaplin. Not only did she discover him, she basically broke him into fame, directed him, and was his bestie for quite a while. So, yeah, an insanely beautiful woman. Mabel contracted tuberculosis at the age of 8 when her brother had it and died. And this isn't covered a lot in any books about her. People are very lazy with this stuff, even though it's like right there. That's another rant. But, anyways, um, today, tuberculosis might not be great, but if you have the meds, you can probably function. Back then, no. That shit was gonna kill you because there was no cure. There was barely any treatment. In fact, one of the more horrifying treatments I learned while researching her, and I don't know the name of it offhand, at one point, I think it was after she died, they started putting, like, one surgery put some balls in people's lungs so the balls would grate and break up the diseased tissue. Yeah. So it was pretty brutal. If you didn't get the, I guess we'll say, balls treatment, you at best could die almost instantly at any time. You might die this time, where you're on your back for 3 months to 2 years, or you might live another 20 years. We'll find out. And that's literally how tuberculosis was, along with what was it? What Connie had? The polio. Along with that, that is now treatable. Those things were so brutal before we had any medicine, and frankly, I count them as disabled because, yeah. And in Mabel's case, I think you're gonna find, my fellow dramatically disabled, that she got a lot of the same shit we get. To this day, people say, oh, she wasn't really sick, she was just a coke addict. She probably didn't take coke outside of whatever was in the cough syrups at the time, which, to be fair, may have had a little coke. They also had weed and morphine. So, yeah. Anyways, Mabel was a beautiful woman. She modeled before she broke into acting, teamed up with Mac Sennett, who would be her lover and her fiance. And they basically created Keystone together, although Mabel gets left out of a lot of these things because men. Anyways, Mac didn't want to sign Charlie. Mabel, I don't know if she's the first to be on screen in a bathing suit or not. She's definitely one of the first. And that made her basically a sex symbol, even though it's more clothes than I'm currently wearing. She became a massive star, one of the top 10 people famous in the 1900s and 1910s easily. And